Hello neighbor, I'm Robert Burns and welcome once again to another edition of Sound Off Louisiana on this wet and rainy Monday afternoon, Monday, December the 9th. And I'm going to keep this video quite brief. What this entails, there was supposed to be a court hearing this morning involving the matter of the LENS NOLA versus LSP custodian of records and Colonel Robert Hodges. That hearing ended up not transpiring because they settled the litigation on Friday, December the 6th. You may remember I did a previous feature quite in depth with regard to the LENS NOLA seeking the contract that was executed with the boutique law firm and that Ed O'Callahan was employed at the time, because it was a $1,000 an hour contract. And LSP declined to provide the LENS NOLA with that contract, resulting in litigation. I'm going to cut straight to the chase. You're welcome to go back and look at the other feature because it was quite involved. The bottom line is the LENS got the contract, which they never should have been denied in the first place. And secondly, they have agreed upon $12,500 as being the attorney's fees and court cost to which the LENS NOLA is entitled as a result of a completely inappropriate denial of that public record. I'm not sure, normally that in the past that would have been an obligation of the custodian of records, a personal liability. Governor Landry succeeded in getting a bill through in this past session that did away with the personal liability for the custodian of records, so I'm not certain when that will have been deemed effective, this particular settlement, and whether or not, my guess is the only way it was acceptable to Colonel Hodges is if LSP wound up paying the $12,500, translation, us taxpayers. And I want you to bear in mind, when I did that whole tax reform situation, we kept using this hypothetical taxpayer that was paying almost $1,000 a year in state income taxes. Well, people talk about, oh, well, we flushed another 12,000 here, 14,000 there. That's 12 people, okay? That the payment of their income taxes was flushed right down the toilet because state police didn't want to turn over a record, okay? I don't know how much simpler I can make it, but I am going to say this: when the Hodges/Besson regime took over, because as I have repeatedly emphasized, it's really the chief of staff that runs things, and that would be Frank Besson in this case. There were some folk in LSP that contacted me, and they support Colonel Hodges. And they asked me if I would mind doing a feature expressing their sentiments of them being very pleased about one transfer in particular that had been made by Colonel Hodges. And that transfer was of Sergeant Thibodeau into gaming in Breaux Bridge. And I said I will be more than happy to do that. As I have always said, I will allow anybody to sound off, positive or negative, and I don't mind doing that on their behalf when they don't want their identities revealed, which in state police's case is virtually always the case. I said, but first I'm going to have to make a public records request. It's not that I doubt you, but I like to substantiate what I report upon. So I made a request for all transfers, and I got the response that, hey, this would compromise security and this, that, and the other. I said, look, no, redact out every name. I wanted to see if somebody was transferred into gaming into Breaux Bridge, and then with that, I could pretty well back into it that it was Sergeant Thibodeau. They said, no, you're not getting it, all right? Now, bear in mind, this is something that I'm trying to get that would be beneficial to the administration. I'm not going to tell them that, but I got pretty mad. And you folks who watched this for quite some time may recall that I pretty well let loose on the Colonel, and I said, if this is the kind of start we're getting off to, it's going to be a rough 4 years. And I meant it. So what I'm going to do is, at this point, I am letting you know by way of this video of those troopers' elation over his decision to transfer Sergeant Thibodeau into gaming in Breaux Bridge. But what I'm also doing, now for those of you who only subscribe to the YouTube channel, you will see two videos going up. This one, and you're going to see one that I had uploaded way back, as Chester Cedars would say, way back there at the beginning of this year, with the full intent of publishing it at the point that I got the public records request. Since I did not get the public records request, I never published it. But I'm going into YouTube and I'm going to publish it today. You all may remember the coverage that we did with regard to Lieutenant Graham and the whole swimming pool incident, which was an utter joke. I can't believe that Colonel Davis even brought that garbage, but he did. And there's no need to harp on Davis because he's ancient history. But I'm going to be perfectly blunt with y'all. Y'all forgive me for being informal and saying y'all. It's down here in the South. We'll never break us of that. I'm going to be very blunt with y'all. I grew up on a 13-acre tract of property right here in Baton Rouge, and we had a 3-acre pond on it, and that pond was 32 feet deep. Bottom line is, I grew up in the water. I may as well have practically been a duck. And I had cousins over and friends, and we engaged in horseplay. We would be on a styrofoam boat, and we would be in this 32 feet of water. I swam at a very young age from one end of that pond to the other. Okay, where if I had gone down, there was nothing separating me but 32 feet of water to get to the bottom. I think I may try to pull it up on a map and show you. The pond should still be there, although it's been a long time. It's grown up. It's hard to see, but it's a 3-acre pond. It's a figure 8. Okay. What we did was way worse. I mean, way worse than anything depicted in that Mickey Mouse so-called hearing for Lieutenant Graham. I mean, I couldn't believe it, okay? But you're gonna see in the second video, Sergeant Thibodeau. We already gave a feature showing where Miss Mary Ann White basically got her on perjury. It may as well be perjury. She caught her right there on the stand uttering a falsehood. And trust me, I got plenty more material from troopers that said, oh, if only it has this and this and this, and they itemized them off about Sergeant Thibodeau. But I stated back on that video when I did it that she can run former Colonel Edmondson under the table when it comes to rambling on and going around the world to say next to nothing. But she wants to impress you with her perception of all of her abilities. And if anybody feels like I'm being sexist in saying this, I would say the same thing about a male if this kind of rambling on took place, and I think you know that. I've said it about Edmondson. So all these months later, I'm going to go ahead and accede to those troopers' wishes and publish the fact of how elated they were over Sergeant Thibodeau's transfer to gaming in Breaux Bridge. And the reason for this 10-month delay is what I had just said, the absolute stonewalling of me with regard to my public records. I will not hide my thrilling that the Lens NOLA won in this litigation. I'm sure state police would just assume it might be exposed, but I commend them in filing the suit. I think state police has a serious transparency issue, and I don't think arbitrarily denying that record the way they did is the way to garner trust amongst the public. I will say that I recently made a public records request, and I just about fell out of my chair when they actually just gave it to me. They didn't even fight me. I really, really hope that that's a trend that will continue going forward. And in due time, I'm going to report on the results that I got from that public records request. I have another pending request even as I film this. I'll be anxious to see how they handle that one as well. So thank you so much. We're going to provide the other video. You have two choices if you're a YouTube subscriber. Obviously, you'll get notified of the other video and you're free to watch it. I'm talking about Sergeant Thibodeau. You'll finally find it. You may get a lot of laughs at the degree to which well, I'll just stop there. The video speaks for itself. Or secondly, you can always click on the link for the sound off feature, and that will provide you with the embedded video of Sergeant Thibodeau, which was uploaded some 10 months ago, and it's just now being published. So this is Robert Burns thanking everyone for their dedication, and we look forward to bringing you yet another Sound Off Louisiana feature in the very near future. Thank you so much. We're giving you the documents to back up the settlement that was made with state police, as well as the order. Now the order's not signed, but it's a joint order to dismiss with prejudice, so it will be signed. So that last signing off was a false alarm. This one is the real one. Thank you so much for all of your dedication, and we look forward to seeing you on another Sound Off Louisiana feature in the very near future. Thank you so much.